During World War II, the most dangerous and successful interrogator in the world did not use a single drop of violence. He didn't use physical pain. He didn't use dark, cold cells. He didn't even raise his voice. His name was Hans Scharf. When a captured fighter pilot was brought to him, expecting torture, Scharf did the exact opposite. He took the prisoner on long, peaceful walks through the German forests. He baked them homemade pastries. He listened intently and deeply to their fears about the war, their complaints about their commanders, and their stories about the wives and children they left behind. He didn't interrogate them. He understood them. He made them feel safe. He made them feel seen in a world full of enemies. And because they felt completely understood, they willingly handed over their deepest, most classified military secrets without even realizing they were being interrogated. Scharf's ultimate weapon was not fear. It was weaponized empathy. You are probably not a prisoner of war, but right now, in your own home, in your own relationship, you might be sitting across from a modern-day master interrogator. Someone who doesn't want your military secrets, but wants total psychological control over your life. Society has warned you about the classic monsters. We are taught to run away from the overt narcissist who screams for attention and the cold psychopath who shows zero emotion. Those monsters are easy to spot. But there is a new psychological profile, a predator that hides in plain sight. They don't break your boundaries with a hammer. They pick the lock using a key that you gave them. They are the person who finishes your sentences, the person who knows exactly why you are crying before you even speak, the person who understands you better than you understand yourself. They are known in modern psychology as the Dark Empath. And by the end of this video, you will realize why the person who heals your wounds today is perfectly mapping the anatomy of your soul, so they know exactly where to insert the knife tomorrow. To understand how the Dark Empath operates, we must first destroy a fundamental lie you have been taught since childhood. You have been taught that empathy is always a virtue, that empathy is synonymous with kindness, love, and morality. This is a fatal misunderstanding of how the human brain works. Empathy is not an emotion. Empathy is a data-gathering tool. In psychology, empathy is divided into two distinct categories: affective empathy and cognitive empathy. Affective empathy is what makes you human. It means when you see someone crying, your own chest feels heavy. When someone is bleeding, you feel a phantom pain. You absorb their emotional state. It is a shared experience. But cognitive empathy is completely different. Cognitive empathy is merely the intellectual ability to read a room. It is the capacity to look at a person's micro-expressions, listen to the tone of their voice, and perfectly deduce exactly what they are feeling, without absorbing a single drop of that emotion yourself. Imagine a highly advanced radar system. The radar can detect a ship perfectly in the fog. It knows its speed, its size, and its weaknesses. But the radar does not care about the ship. The Dark Empath possesses a terrifyingly high level of cognitive empathy, combined with the traits of the Dark Triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. This means they have the radar, but they completely lack the moral compass. When a normal person sees that you are insecure about your appearance, their affective empathy kicks in, and they try to comfort you. When a Dark Empath sees that you are insecure, Their cognitive empathy kicks in, and they file that information away in a mental vault. They think, this is the button I can press later when I need to destroy their confidence. They possess the unique ability to hack into your emotional mainframe. They speak the language of vulnerability fluently, but it is a second language to them. They learned it, not by feeling it, but by studying it. And this is exactly why they are so lethal. Because the trap does not start with cruelty. The trap starts with the most intoxicating drug a human being can experience. The feeling of being completely and unconditionally understood. But how do they do it? How do they get you to open the gates to your own fortress? It all begins in the intelligence gathering phase. The phase you mistook for falling in love. So, how does the trap begin? It does not begin with grand theatrical gestures. It does not begin with obvious red flags. It begins with silence. The Dark Empath is a master of the pause. When you first meet them, you will feel an overwhelming, almost supernatural sense of relief. Finally, you think, someone who gets it. They ask you about your childhood. They ask about your past relationships. They ask about your deepest regrets and your silent insecurities. And when you speak, they do not interrupt. They lean in. Their eyes lock onto yours. They mirror your body language perfectly. You think, they care so much. We have such a profound connection. But what is actually happening beneath the surface is a high-speed psychological download. They are not listening to comfort you. They are listening to map the architecture of your vulnerabilities. Every time you confess a fear, I am terrified of being abandoned. Or, my ex used to call me crazy. Or, I always feel like I'm not good enough. You are handing them the blueprints to your destruction. This is the intelligence gathering phase. To gain your trust, they might even use a tactic called strategic vulnerability. They will share a fake, manufactured weakness with you just to make you feel safe enough to share your real, devastating weaknesses with them. You believe you are building intimacy. You believe you are building a shared sanctuary. But you are actually building a Trojan horse and pulling it into the center of your own city. They are cataloging your triggers. They are memorizing the exact weight and shape of your emotional baggage. Why? Because a hunter cannot capture his prey until he knows exactly where the prey goes to drink water. And once the map is complete, the honeymoon phase ends, and the weaponization begins. The intelligence gathering phase can last for months, sometimes years. But eventually, the inevitable happens. You have a disagreement. You try to set a boundary, or perhaps they simply realize they no longer need to wear the mask. This is when their cognitive empathy transforms from a listening tool into a weapon of mass psychological destruction. If you argue with an overt, average narcissist, they will scream at you. They will throw things. They are messy, loud, and obvious. But the Dark Empath? They are terrifyingly calm. They do not need to raise their voice to break you. They just need to whisper the exact right sentence. Because they know your deepest fears, they perform surgical strikes. Let's say you confided in them that your abusive parent used to call you hysterical when you were a child. During an argument, when you are rightfully upset about something they did, the Dark Empath will not defend their actions. They will look at you with cold, empty eyes and say softly, "Look at how hysterical you are acting right now. You are doing exactly what you hated your father for. Boom. In one sentence, they have bypassed the actual argument, bypassed your logic, and dropped a nuclear bomb directly on your childhood trauma. You instantly stop fighting about what they did wrong. You start crying. You start defending your sanity. You start apologizing. They have used your own map against you. This is an advanced, lethal form of gaslighting. They will manufacture distance perfectly calibrated to trigger your specific fear of abandonment. They will use the exact words they know will make you doubt your own memory. And the most devastating part? They will often do it while pretending to be concerned for you. They will say, "I'm only pointing this out because I care about your mental health," while simultaneously pushing you to the edge of a mental breakdown. You are left paralyzed. Your brain cannot process the contradiction. How can the person who held you while you cried be the same person twisting the knife into the exact wound they kissed? You start to believe that you are the monster, that you are the toxic one. Because if someone who understands you so perfectly thinks you are crazy, maybe you are. This is the ultimate victory of the Dark Empath. They do not just break your heart, they break your reality. But before you look at your partner with suspicion, we must draw a very clear line in the sand. Not every disagreement is a surgical strike. Not every person who understands you deeply is a predator. Cognitive empathy itself is not evil. It is a completely neutral, beautiful tool. It is the exact same tool used by brilliant therapists to heal you, by crisis negotiators to save lives, and by great leaders to inspire their teams. The danger only arises when this tool is placed in the hands of someone without a moral compass. Furthermore, we must not mythologize the Dark Empath. They are not evil geniuses plotting your downfall in a dark room. Most of the time, their manipulation is entirely unconscious. It is a tragic, defensive reflex born from their own unhealed childhood trauma. They gather information and control you because they are secretly terrified of losing control themselves. But recognizing their trauma does not mean you have to be their collateral damage. Understanding why they bite does not mean you should leave your hand in their mouth. So, how do you survive a predator who wears the face of your closest confidant? How do you escape an invisible prison? The answer begins with a radical shift in your perception. You must break their primary weapon, your belief in their words. The Dark Empath survives on your cognitive dissonance. They survive because you keep trying to match their beautiful, understanding words with their cruel, devastating actions. To defeat them, you must become temporarily deaf. Stop listening to what they say. Watch what they do. When you strip away the late-night deep conversations, the mirroring, and the apologies, what is left? Are you more anxious? Are you more isolated? Are you constantly doubting your own memory? The body does not lie, even when the mind is confused. Your nervous system knows it is under attack, which is why you feel exhausted around them. To protect yourself, you must learn the ultimate rule of emotional survival. Guard your citadel. Do not mistake active listening for genuine care. In the modern world, we are so starved for attention that we hand over the keys to our deepest traumas to anyone who simply looks us in the eye and asks, "How do you really feel?" True intimacy is not built in 3 weeks of intense trauma dumping. True intimacy is earned through consistent, safe, and boring actions over years. Stop giving away your emotional blueprints to people who haven't proven they can build with them. And if you are already in the trap, if the dark empath is already using your secrets against you, there is only one winning strategy. You cannot out-argue them. Their cognitive empathy will always find a way to twist your logic and make you the villain. You cannot appeal to their heart because the radar is disconnected from the compass. The only winning move is not to play. It is the gray rock method. It is total emotional withdrawal. It is silence. You take the ammunition away. You stop reacting to the surgical strikes. You close the vault. When they realize the buttons no longer work, the radar will scan for a new target, and they will leave. You are not crazy. The pain you feel is not a symptom of your weakness. It is the alarm system of your soul, screaming that the person holding you is the one suffocating you. Take back your map, reclaim your reality, and never apologize for locking the door to your own mind. This is Cogniloom. Signal in the noise.